This pricing nugget is different than the others. First, it marks the beginning of a 4-part series. And second, we need to turn to a more serious topic than usual. We are at the beginning of a financial downturn. And this financially constrained situation does something to your customers and to your consumers. Today we look into how does customer behavior change in recessionary times and what 3 underlying drivers cause this behavior. In the next 3 episodes, we look into each of these drivers and what you can do as a business owner or price setter to address these. Let us jump in. We talk about the economic downturn, but what is actually going on? Let us take Germany as an example. In September, inflation was at an all-time high with 10%, meaning prices for the same goods are 10% higher than last year. And this increase in prices did not match the increase in income levels. It was much higher, meaning people earned in net terms, in real earnings, 4.4% less than last year. And looking into the future, the Consumer Climate Index, it's a measure to measure consumer sentiment, is also at an all-time low. It's an indicator that measures people's confidence into the financial future and about their likelihood to buy something today or to postpone it. And all 3 subcomponents that create this Consumer Climate Index, the economic expectations, the income expectations and the propensity to buy are all at an all-time low. Okay, the financial situation is very constrained and the outlook is very dark. What happens to customer behavior in this case? Studies showed that during recessionary times, customers tend to become more prudent, they spend less, they avoid excessive debt, and they save more of their still available income. So in absolute terms, they might save less, but in relative terms, they try to save a bit more. And this behavior is perfectly summarized by price consciousness. Customers become more price conscious in financially constrained times. And this higher level of price consciousness or price sensitivity has also been reported by The Economist mid-October 2022. What do higher level of price consciousness or price sensitivity do to consumers? I digged out a few studies looking at different populations, and for example for the US we find that consumers tend to spend less on non-essential products and services like dining out or out-of-home entertainment and even groceries, what you could believe are essential products. Even here people want to spend 17% less on groceries. Turning to a different population. Looking into an EY study, they had a worldwide sample, or a McKinsey study, they looked at the top 5 countries in Europe, measured by gross domestic product, I believe. Here we find that consumers switch to a different brand, and this is 1 out of 3. Interestingly, both studies found the same percentage. So in recessionary times, consumers tend to switch to a different brand to save money. And in particular, switching to a private brand, we see that these percentages even increase. So about 35 to 40% of people switch from a branded product to an unbranded product to a private brand to save money. What else? In a McKinsey study for Europe, they found that 14% who bought previously in brick and mortar stores now switch to online channels. That's about 1 out of 7. Interesting. What else? Also, the McKinsey study found that consumers not only switch from offline to online, but looking into the offline market, consumers tend to switch from other formats to discounters. So they switch brands to cheaper national brands, to cheaper private labels. They switch to presumably cheaper online channel, and within the offline channel, they switch to discounters. And these effects, combined with many others, explain why in June 2022, retail sales fell by 2.8% compared to last year. And you see, this leaves tremendous impact on the financial situation of businesses, and here is an example for retailers. Let us do a quick recap. We understand that customers become more price conscious. And we see that a higher level of price consciousness changes customer behavior. And we understand that this new customer behavior has a detrimental impact on businesses. We understand this chain of thought. The question that we want to answer now is, what drives price consciousness? And now we look into the 3 drivers that explain a higher level of price consciousness during economic downturns that researchers identified. The first driver is feelings of anxiety about the financial future. So consumers are very pessimistic about their financial future. They vividly see the consequences and problems having less money that is created for them and for their loved ones. And these anticipated consequences make them feel anxious and they worry about money. So to deal with this situation, they spend less and save more, just in case that this bad financial future actually turns out to be the new reality. So the first driver is feelings of anxiety about the financial future. The second driver is people feel guilty when spending money. In times of financial downturns, consumers develop a new internal moral compass, and they anticipate guilt when they do something that is against their internal moral compass and their new values. For example, when they spend money on something luxurious that is not 100% needed. In this case, they believe it is wrong because it increases the financial hardship for themselves and for their loved ones. So they know it is wrong. So now assume we have enough money and we are not affected by this financial crisis. Still, if they have a social circle that experiences this financial crisis, they still feel that it is wrong to spend money because not only your internal moral compass changed, but also the social norms changed. And the financial norms now are more about financial prudence and frugality. And not only violating your internal moral compass, but also violating these social norms cause guilt and pain. So the second driver is feeling guilty when spending money. The third driver is need to feel being a smart shopper when spending money. So in particular in recessionary times, customers feel proud when they make a good deal during shopping. And this good deal gives them a psychological reward. It makes them feel proud. They feel they have accomplished something and they develop more self-esteem in this case. Feeling oneself as a smart shopper makes customers turn to an internal locus of control. They feel they can do something against this financial crisis. And also here, even if you're not financially affected by this economic crisis, The social norm of frugality gives you still an intrinsic reward being a smart shopper. So this is the third driver, the need to feel being a smart shopper when spending money. Let us quickly recap what we learned so far. In financial downturns, consumers become more price conscious. And they become more price conscious for three reasons. First, consumers become more anxious about their financial future. They feel guilt when spending money. And they want to feel as a smart shopper when spending money. So, you might guess, your homework today is to find ways how to make your customers less anxious, how to make your customers feel less guilty when spending money, and how you could make your customers feel as a smart shopper during recessionary times. I hope I can leave you with a few sparks of inspiration and homework, and I look forward to seeing you again next week when we discuss what you can do to address the first driver of price consciousness. Until then, join me at pricingnuggets.com. I see you there.